I pledge allegiance to the flag with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will start with our consent agenda. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the consent agenda as presented, including approval of minutes of the regular Board of Education meeting on November 11th, 2024, approval of the proposed accounts for payment, approval of budgetary receipts and expenditures for November 2024.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Eric. Jackie, do you have a treasurer's report for us?
I do. So as we look at expenditures for the month of November, for the general fund, payroll was at $1,957,399.91. Bills totaled $884,592.05, which brought the total expenditures to $2,841,991.96. As we looked at the revenue for the month of November, our total revenue was $1,070,178.95. A couple of things as you look at the revenue, notes of importance. Because of the holiday, the Thanksgiving holiday and where it fell, state aid did not get directly deposited from the NDE into the BPS account. It hit December 2nd, so it will show in December's treasurer's report at the January board meeting. That amount is $585,023. Also important to note, our second to last reimbursement for ESSER 3 of $279,002 was deposited on December 2nd. We still have another reimbursement we are expecting from ESSER 3 of $59,290. And the final reimbursements for last year's Title I of $151,780 was also deposited December 2nd.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any items that the board would like to pull off the consent agenda for further discussion? All right, seeing none, can I have your votes, please? And motion passes. All right, next up, outstanding recognition. We will start with All-State Band, Mr. Boyd.
Ms. Carter's got it.
Oh,
Mrs.
gotcha,
Carter
okay.
has it. Yep.
I'm a high school band director. We only have one of our students with us today. This is Ryan Rempel. Our other student is Caroline Davis. They both had the honor of going to our All-State Convention in November. Ryan was an All-State band, and he's the first student from BPS in 9 years to go to the All-State band. And Caroline Davis made it into orchestra, and she's the first student in 23 years for Beatrice to make it into these programs. The audition is really rigorous. They've been working on the audition from March to October. They have a whole packet of music, technical, lyrical, all kinds of things to work on. So these kids put in a lot of hours to recognize this and to represent BPS.
All right, congratulations. All right, next up, Employee of the Month, Mr. Boyd.
Officer Lowenstein. We would like to congratulate Officer Zach Lowenstein, the December Employee of the Month. Officer Lowenstein should receive the Employee of the Decade award, really. Zach is a big reason why VHS is a great place. Every day brings a smile. Officer Lowenstein is a foundational rock at Beatrice High School. He's caring, compassionate, intuitive, and considerate, and is sincerely concerned about the students' well-being. He listens, understands, and responds in a positive, thoughtful, and wise manner to each and every student. He does not jump to conclusions or judgment, but demonstrates wisdom and knowledge with each encounter. Students are quick to go to Officer Lowenstein if they have a problem, a concern, or a question. They know they can depend and rely upon him for guidance and assurance. It's not only the students that he cares about, but also the entire staff at our school. The dedication Officer Lowenstein demonstrates goes beyond his bravery and protection of BHS. Whether he's breaking up fights, checking on disturbances, following up threats, helping a person in need, or offering a listening ear, He is constantly serving and protecting. He is committed to the safety of all of our staff and students while advocating for a secure environment. When you see Officer Lowenstein, you witness integrity, character, honor, and truth. He is the epitome of what you would want in a trusted leader and friend. Along with the students and staff, Zach also has been a tremendous inspiration and source of strength to the school community and Beatrice community. He has the ability to lead, protect, motivate, and encourage everyone around him. Officer Lowenstein is a genuine and true hero to be honored and praised by all. From motivational speeches, inspirational guidance, and support of all kinds, this individual has the ability to help and heal. He is always there to lend a helping hand and to make the school a better place. Officer Lowenstein was the driving force behind opening the mini marts at VHS and VMS, and he's been instrumental in the success of providing students and family with food who need it. And with all that, he has an awesome dog. Additionally, at the district level, Officer Lowenstein is a huge part of our safety and security team, as well as the threat assessment team. He has helped to ensure that the emergency operations plan was relevant and accurate. He works to ensure that the Red Safety Book is updated year to year with key pieces being revised if necessary. Officer Lowenstein is a huge resource for BPS, and his presence will be missed. However, he has stated that he will definitely be willing to be our community representative for the safety and security team and the threat assessment team. Congratulations, Officer Lowenstein. Thank you for your continued commitment to Beatrice Public Schools.
Yeah, we do need a picture, don't you, of both of those?
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Beyond time and. Thank you.
Just, this is perfectly fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, board member recognition. Lisa and Hannah.
Okay, so we have two amazing board members that I don't know if they are excited about tonight or sad, but it is with bittersweet that we are seeing two of our amazing board members go off the board. So let's go down front, and I have something maybe to say about each of you, and then be careful. It's all good. Okay, I will start with Lisa first. Lisa's passion for ensuring we have a strong vision through the strategic plan is greatly appreciated. When the initial strategic plan was developed in 2010-11, Lisa was a strong part of the development of a strong plan. Through the next two strategic plan developments, she continued to be an integral part of the process, ensuring we had a strong definition of who we are in BPS through a strong mission and belief statements. Additionally, through each strategic plan, the focus to provide an environment for all of our learners through classroom facilities that are state-of-the-art and conducive for our current educational experiences has always been on the forefront of her mind. Along with other board members, she pushed for the high school outdoor classroom and athletic complex. She continued to keep focused on promoting an environment for our elementary students that provided opportunities for our youngest learners to reach their full potential. And we are grateful for those endeavors. Lisa continues to push the district to keep focused on the vision developed by the community and our stakeholders. She works to gain an understanding of what decisions are in front of administration at the district and building level. She understands that we strive to make decisions that are made that are beneficial to our students and staff. Lisa has been on the board for 16 years, and we thank her for all of those years of service. Okay, so Janet, it's now, it is now your turn. Janet's attention to detail is to be applauded. With every new endeavor, whether by the Board of Education or the administrative team, Janet asks the questions that others might not think of. Keeping an eye on the financial end is extremely important to Janet, but keeping an eye out for the children and the students we serve is far more important to her. She evaluates every decision looking at all angles to ensure that it is fiscally responsible for the district and will as well meet the needs of all students involved. Janet has chaired the negotiations committee for the past 7 years that Mr. Alexander has been the superintendent. Her leadership and diligence in this arena has resulted in successful negotiation seasons and budget-minded responsibility. She has continued to build strong relationships with BEA negotiators and worked for solutions that affect all team members. And we are grateful for how smooth it has gone in the last couple of years. Janet will always listen to a concern. She will tirelessly work to find the solution or solve the problem. Janet is always willing to assist within the schools and has helped to write numerous grants to benefit our schools. She problem solves so we can continue to provide amazing opportunities for our students. She has given 12 years of service, and we thank her for each and every one of them.
Thank you again, Janet and Lisa, for all of your years of service. You guys will be missed. Your dedication and just knowledge of everything that has gone on through the board. You've been very helpful to myself and other new board members that have came on, and definitely will be missed. Okay, next up, information portion. We will start with the student update. Annie.
Okay, so at the preschool and elementary, they just got done hosting Breakfast with Santa this past weekend. It was such a fun morning. They had community help from Kiwanis Early Morning Risers, the high school group's Key Club, and National Honor Society also came to help. It was such a fun morning. At the elementary, they're wrapping up their testing. It is very fun to see the growth of their students. Staff have worked very hard to target specific skills and help students grow. They're also working as classes to earn the Golden Spatula in the lunchroom. The Golden Spatula goes to the class that does the best at lunch. Right before break, the class with the most Golden Spatulas will get an extra special surprise. They continue to work on reducing office referrals. They're spinning a wheel, and if that class is chosen and no referrals happen, the entire grade level gets open access to the slide the next day. December is a very fun month at the elementary school, and they are working to continue instruction while enjoying the magic of the season. And for the middle school, the Beatrice Middle School girls finished 109-46 in their first season of girls wrestling. BMS raised over $1,200 for the Gage County Christmas wish list and were able to help 17 kids in need by buying presents with the proceeds. Students and teachers have been working hard in the classroom. In the next 2 weeks, they will be finishing up IXL testing and unit tests as the semester ends. The high school. The winter sports seasons began on December 5th, and all the teams have been filled with success. The one-act play and the unified bowling team recently both wrapped up their seasons. The high school is preparing for finals week, which will occur next week, Wednesday through Friday. On Monday and Tuesday of next week, the high school is holding their annual Christmas Spirit Days with a new edition of handing out hot chocolate this year. Many school clubs or organizations have volunteered their time to the community by helping out with the annual Breakfast with Santa and making Christmas cards for the nursing homes.
All right, thank you, Amy. Next up, board reports. We will start with the stance report. Jackie.
Okay, Stance met on Tuesday, December 3rd to accommodate senators from the Stance organization. Senator Tom Brandt and Senator Dave Merman attended the meeting and gave perspectives on the special session held this summer, insights to the 2025 legislative session, and suggested that superintendents propose one state mandate to senators to eradicate via legislation that will reduce property taxes. It was a great discussion. Other discussion involved an update from the NCSA Executive Director Mike Delaney regarding the following topics. Governor Pillen's 2025 legislative preview, which you have a handout of, the NPERS retirement update, and then possible legislation this coming season, this coming session.
Okay, thank you. Next up, Negotiations Committee, Janet.
Yes, the board met with BEA this afternoon, and we will meet again on Thursday. And we're just moving along slowly, but we're getting there.
Perfect, thank you. Next up is the public forum, time for a chance for public to give comments. I did not receive any requests tonight, so we will move on to the discussion portion. We will start with financial literacy. Jackie.
Okay, at your, in front of you, you have a document that highlights financial literacy and what the district has been doing over the course of the year. According to state statute, we need to make sure that we share with the board, share with our public what we have been doing in our classrooms and our buildings. So I just want to talk about a few of those things. You can take more time to read it, and if you do have additional questions as you read it, please do not hesitate to reach out. Experiences at the elementary level are very hands-on, giving students opportunities to understand spending and saving. Students manage their own checkbooks in 4th and 5th grades and operate businesses to understand how a successful food truck runs. In the middle school, multiple classes spend time helping students begin to understand debt, savings, credit cards, interest rates, and post-graduation financial strategies. And as we move to the high school, all students are required to take a semester financial literacy course to meet graduation requirements. The course is integrated, it's an integrated course where they understand financial literacy, but they connect it to future goals and careers. Students create a personal learning plan, they job shadow based on their personal interests, and develop an understanding of money management, budgeting, financial planning, credit, insurance, investments, and taxes. There's a lot that happens in the semester course. Also, to take a look at the success rate of personal finance at BHS, in the fall 2023, 78% of students completed the course successfully. In spring 2024, 81.49% of students completed it successfully. We do make sure that there are credit recovery options for students who have not completed it successfully because it is a graduation requirement.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on the financial literacy report? All right, well, we've all been waiting for the 2023-24 audit report. Mr. Bruns, the stage is yours.
I always feel bad because I'm gonna sit down.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I think Jackie said that everyone has a
Yep.
copy of it. Okay. So, as usual, I'll go through this fairly quickly because I know it's not everybody's highlight, but as I go through this, just stop me if anybody has any questions and I'll address them at that time. So what you have is our annual independent auditors report. Pages 1 through 3 is the actual report itself. And so what that thing says is it basically outlines who's responsible for what, and then what our procedures were and what our opinion is based on our findings as we conducted those procedures. So they kind of reorganized this, the layout of this report, but you can see there in paragraph 2, our opinion is basically what they would call an unmodified. It's the highest level of assurance that we can give on a set of financial statements. So the rest of it is kind of just outlining who's responsible for what, and then kind of the rest of the report itself. So numbers-wise, starting on page 4, for those of you that aren't necessarily familiar with how financial statements work for governmental entities, it's not, I would say, straightforward. So what you have here is the first column there on page 4 is disbursements by function, okay? And then as we work our way to the right-hand side of the page, those function expenses are offset by various income items, okay? So that column on the right is a net expenditure column per function, okay? So you can see there function expenses, 94,933,000. On a comparative basis, that number would have been 25,087,000 last year. So net expenditures for the district were down about 154,000, okay, year over year. The bottom half of page 4 and continuing on to page 5 is where the general receipts come in. That's where the taxes, various other income items and receipts come in. So 25,749,000 of general receipts, okay? That number last year was 24,762,000. So general receipts are up about 987,000 for the year. And as I went through here and identified the individual revenue accounts, the biggest one was the property taxes. That's up by itself about 900,000. So that's the majority of the additional increase in revenues. So you net the net expenditures against the general receipts, and you get 816,000 of additional cash balance, if you will, net income, whatever you want to call it. So at the end of the year, there was about 18.9 million of assets on hand for the district. Okay. And then flipping over to page 6, this kind of outlines the various makeup of those asset accounts. So you've got 14 million in the bank, $1 million in CDs, and then 3.8 million at the Gage County Treasurer that would remit. I think they remit twice a month. So all that's factored into what the net assets of the district are. Pages 7 through 9. So what I just talked about is district-wide. Okay. Then we get into some specific individual funds, and we go through a calculation to determine what the government considers major funds. And the general fund is always considered a major fund, and then based on either assets or revenue, any other additional funds would be considered a major fund. So that's why we've got special building fund listed there as an additional major fund. Everything else within the district is grouped into that other governmental funds. Okay. Footnote wise, starting on page 11, nothing new there. Again, that's just definitional based footnote explaining terminology that a financial statement user would see as they read this report. Okay, nothing new there. I just kind of want to point that out. If anybody has questions, I would refer them to note 1 as it relates to what, if they have any questions on the terminology. Note 2, as I just mentioned, there was 18 million roughly of net assets available to the district. So 14 million of that was either cash within the district or fiduciary funds, and there's a statement there that talks about that. But the main thing that note 2 gets to is the fact that all those deposits on hand were fully insured. So there's no risk of losing those deposits on hand. Okay. Note 3, it's lengthy. It outlines what the retirement plan is. And of course it just follows the NPERS program. You can see there was about 14 million of wages eligible for retirement match, if you will, and so the district share of the retirement employer match was 1.4 million. Okay, that's just as dictated by state statute. Okay. Now, jumping to page 30 through pretty much the balance of the report is the receipts and disbursements for each and every individual fund. Okay, these are budgetary comparative statements, so which is a required governmental accounting standard. And so what we really look at when we do these statements is to make sure that no funds overspent what was budgeted to be spent, okay? And I'll flip through. No funds this year overspent what they were budgeted for, so that's a positive. 48 through 52. Required letters based on governmental auditing standards. 48 and 49 is a report as it relates to internal controls of the district itself. And so what we do is we identify what those internal controls are, we document them, and we test them in certain instances. So you can see there that I think we have one internal control deficiency as noted at the bottom of page 48. And what that gets to is the same thing that I say every year. It basically says that in theory, standards would say we show up and Jackie Bornemeyer hands me this report and I just perform my procedures. Well, in reality, she gives us pieces to put this report together, okay? And that's what 99% of our clients do. So it's not a significant finding, it's just one that we need to put in our report, okay? 50 and 52, 50 through 52 rather, relate to the fact that the district has over $750,000 of federal expenditures. This is so we are required to perform additional procedures on what we deem to be a major program of those federal awards. So, and as I'm talking about the single audit piece, as it relates to the federal piece of it, this year it was ESSER's program, okay, that we identified as a major program. Typically, before ESSER's came along, it was either Title I, IDEA, or lunch, the nutrition program. So it's just kind of a evolving or a cyclical type single audit procedures that we perform on typically those three functions. But now that ESSER's is along, it kind of gets intermingled in with the other various funds. But based on the amount spent, that was identified as the one and only major program as far as the federal awards go. Yeah, and then the last thing is what I talked about earlier as far as findings go, and that's just the financial statement preparation piece, which again, I would not expect the district, due to staffing, be able to overcome or mitigate that. And so other than that, I think the procedures we performed were based off of the information that Jackie provided, which was exactly what we needed. We had no issues while we were here. So that's, I guess, the highlights of this year's audit, you can say.
Perfect, thank you, Ryan. Does anybody have any questions, concerns from the audit?
Janet, last chance. Last chance.
Speak now or forever, please. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
I read the whole thing while you were talking.
All right, next up is the action portion. First up, approval of the 2023-24 audit. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the 2023-24 audit.
We have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Any other questions, comments on the audit? If none, can I see your votes, please? And motion passes. The audit is approved. All right, next up, approve HVAC repairs at Beatrice High School. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the quotes from Prairie Mechanical for the repair of the HVAC units at Beatrice High School.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Anything you would like to add to that, Jackie?
With the age of BHS, the building is right around 25 years. And so we are starting to see items that need to be updated and repaired more frequently. We currently have a couple of HVAC units that are not working properly, and so they need to be replaced. The units that we have are in the IT room, so where we house all of our technology, and so it's necessary that we get that replaced, and then in the business room. Additionally, we have a couple of other rooms that we will continue to get quotes for, and we will bring those next semester.
And what was the total on this one?
Total on this one,
There's 3 of them. The IT is $5,304.88. nurses station, $5,303.88. So a total of $10,600 essentially for both repairs.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Any questions, comments on HVAC repair at the high school? All right, seeing none, can I have your votes, please? And motion passes. All right, next up, approve purchase of Bobcat. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the purchase of a Bobcat from Mead Lumber.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Anything else to add, Jackie?
Using some of the funds from the auction proceeds, we have been working with Mead Lumber to help us procure a Bobcat. Mead Lumber is willing to sell us their Bobcat for a total of $31,500. The Bobcat would be utilized at the elementary school for snow removal and then other projects. And it would be able to head over to the high school too to help out there as well.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All right, seeing none, can I have your votes, please? And motion passes. All right, next up, approval of the superintendent contract addendum. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the superintendent contract addendum for the 25-26 school year.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. All right, and so with the contract addendum, we are looking at a 1.09% increase to Mr. Alexander's salary for the 25-26 school year, which would put him at a total salary of $200,000 per year. So any questions around that? Okay. Seeing none, can I have your votes, please? And motion passes. All right. Administrator's report.
Okay, I just have one item, a little bit of the OLR, the online registration update. Last week, we know we disabled Google accounts for students who did not have their OLR completed. We've worked with families since July to have them go through the online registration update and ensure all information is accurate. It has contacts in it, emergency contacts, medical information, handbook authorization, technology appropriate use agreement. Additionally, the student enrollment information is part of the state funding process. It's necessary to have all families complete this registration process. So last Tuesday, we started with 108 students needing to have the OLR completed. Today, we have 16 students needing to have it completed. We have had numerous staff members, our administrators, secretaries, registrars, teachers, spend a large amount of time working with families to complete this process. I will say that we thank each and every one of them for continuing to reach out to families, continuing to find ways to help families, continuing to navigate anything that comes their way to ensure that families get it completed. They have done an amazing job and continue to do an amazing job to help these last few families complete this.
And you said we were down to 16?
Down to 16. So we are very close. The elementary, I know, they are now at 0. After this afternoon, I did get a call because maybe there is a little challenge among the buildings. But I guess we are down to 0 at the elementary. Our middle school is shortly there. I think they have about 4, maybe 2 left. And our high school still has a few more to get within that batch. Yes. Now, I will tell you one of the things that we are ensuring is we are ensuring that students are able to access so their IXL testing that we do for that state assessment piece. But also for final schedules, we will make sure that kids have those devices because we want them to have their finals. They need to be able to take their finals. We will continue to work with the families as much as we possibly can, but our goal is not to hurt the students through this process, but we also have forms that we have to have completed and documents that we need to have accomplished and finished.
I did wonder about whether or not this would affect our state aid with it having to, with an October 1st deadline for enrollment, and we're sitting here in December, is there a penalty?
It should not affect state aid. However, that's the thing, is we shoot for the October ensuring all kids are registered, and so they're registered. There are just some pieces that might be missing that we just have to clean up
Okay, so
once we
this
get them
does not
registered.
affect the enrollment numbers overall.
Exactly.
The enrollment is the enrollment.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah, when you said state funding, I didn't know if that would be.
There are just some pieces that may be missing as they go through that demographic section, as they go through other pieces that might be missing in reports that we have to go back and clean up. And we have until the end of June to make sure all that
Okay.
data is cleaned up.
Okay, thank you.
Is that something that they have to do annually?
Yes.
So will some of that information carry over so that they can just go in and make changes, so it's not such a cumbersome process going forward, that they can just go in and maybe change a few things?
Yes, and for quite a few families, they don't need to change anything. It's really just going through and just making sure everything, confirming that everything is accurate, and making sure that you sign, that you agree to all of the components of the handbook, and also that you agree to use your technology appropriately. Now, next year, we are looking at also ways that we can get this started right away in July, and then work with families, end of July, beginning of August, open house times, parent-teacher conferences even before. Our goal is to try to get 90% of our students done before the first day of school. That will be our goal.
What would you say were the main impediments to getting all this done? It does seem like a lot of effort trying to get all this taken care of. So you want to get more of a head start this coming year, or any other ways of taking that on?
I think technology was a little bit of an impediment. We did have some parents that do not utilize technology as much as their child may. And so navigating it on your phone is a little bit more difficult than navigating it on a computer. We would try and get families in here a couple times. We sent an email with screenshots and just said, here's what it is. Just send us back confirmation, and then put in writing that your child will follow the handbook, your child will do this or do that, so that we could then help them fill out the form. So the other thing that we did and we used, I will tell you, we used our translator service, Propio, a lot, because just making sure that we work with families and have that communication barrier not be an obstacle. But again, technology still is an obstacle. I don't know of Infinite Campus. I do not think it translates at the moment. I'm pretty sure that when you, as a parent, get onto the platform, it is not in Spanish for you. And so that's another piece that is a hindrance as well.
Thanks.
So
But we also have parents that just don't get it done. From my experience working with the after-school program, we try to take a survey, and we want to take that survey to make things better, and they don't do it. So I would say the district has done all they can to make it as painless as possible, and people just need to get it done, so to speak.
Is there any paper form they can do, or is it all on the phone, computer, all that?
our goal is to reduce the paper, and so it is all through their phone. Now, again, I go back to,
For the ones that don't do the technical side of it, they might be more willing to fill a form out on paper.
sometimes sending home the paper. I know that we did still have, it did not take this long, but we did still have problems getting the paper back too. And so we are still working with the families and trying to think of solutions for each and every individual family, and we will continue to see what we can get done.
So when students are wards of the state or foster situations, who signs for that?
It would be whoever is their guardian would be the person that would sign. Yep. it's the person that has access to that Infinite Campus and that can see all of their records and has that educational responsibility for that child.
Okay.
That is it.
That is it. All right. So, notification of next meeting. The next regular meeting of the Board of Education will be January 13th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Administration Building. There will not be a Committee of the Whole meeting in December. An agenda for the meeting, which shall be kept continually current, is readily available for public inspection at the Superintendent's office during normal business hours. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 adjourn.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Janet and I are gonna second it.
Lisa and Janet, second. Your votes, please. We are adjourned. Thank you.